Wow, it's been a while since I made a video, and quite frankly, I'm glad I'm back. Let me go ahead and stand up for a little bit because I'm actually very nervous right now. It's as if I were filming for the very first time, and quite frankly, for me, it has been a very long time. Well, 2 months exact. Um, but it's funny, I hope everyone had a safe 4th of July and all that great stuff. Hopefully no one lost some fingers. And I really do mean that because there have been a lot of incidences where that's already been happening, right? But anyways, I'm back with the YouTube video, and I know, why aren't you consistent? Well, there's been a lot of life changes. Some ups, some downs, some good, some bads, uglies, beautiful ones. And quite frankly, I am yearning to make a YouTube video. I've been focusing on another social media platform, social media channel, but I'm back, and I failed. The reality is I'm here to talk about a failure of mine. I'm here to talk about the failed attempt to launch an online fitness training program with yours truly, myself. Now, let's just be honest and let's be real. Okay, I'm not trying to generalize people who look like me, but quite frankly, at least here in the United States, we get a bad rep, or we get a stereotype of Latinos or Mexicans. You guys don't work out. You guys don't look like you work out. You guys have a big gut, blah, 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 blah. I really wanted to change that. And initially, my goal was to help Latino men and women lose weight. And quite frankly, I think that's a very challenging demographic. But I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of the demographics, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit later. I've been reflecting a lot because this time last year, while in San Diego, decided to start my own online fitness training program. I remember working at the hotel, working on my fitness training program at the hotel while on vacation, and I was just in this zone. I was just so determined to get things done, so determined to start it with the branding, with the name, with the training, all this stuff. And I was designing shirts on Photoshop, and it was I was just super hyper focused. And it was fun, don't get me wrong. But looking at 1 year in terms of what exactly happened, where did I go wrong? What did I not do? Throughout the months since I launched my fitness training program, I realized social media is embedded and saturated with online fitness trainers, hopefuls like myself, who want to make money. And that's all good, that's rightfully so. But here's the thing. I didn't mean to stutter there. Pause. Okay, now we're back. Here's the thing. I realized I needed to push out so much social media content, something that brought value, and quite frankly, with my full-time job, I'm not really able to do that, and it's really difficult to even do that, honestly. So I wanted to pivot, wanted to go into a different direction. So if you have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, a business, a program, whatever it is, and you have some fears and you're thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to be a failure. I'm not saying it's going to be a failure, but it is going to be a life lesson that you can't miss. And I really hope to show you in this video my experience, and I hope that you learn from my experience. Let's get into the video. One of the reasons I really wanted to start my own online fitness training program was because I was actually in one. I saw how it worked. I saw what worked, what didn't work, and I saw the lives and how they were impacted by the coaches, the team, and the exercises, the nutrition changes, the lifestyle changes, all the additions, some of the subtractions. And I generally said, everyone deserves that type of education, information, and resourcefulness. So that's the reason why I wanted to get into online fitness training program. And more and more I got into it, and I started watching like Greg Doucette and learning about a lot of different online fitness influencers or trainers, all this stuff, I realized it was going to be a bumpy road. Social media has opened doors for a lot of individuals. I'm not trying to hate on online fitness influencers, trainers, whatever it may be, because it truly has helped a lot of people get in shape, learn how to exercise properly, learn how to eat, learn how to add certain things to their lifestyle that have been for the better, not just for them, but also for their families, right? What was my concern as I started to watch and learn more about certain influencers was my approach was very niche. And let me explain what I meant by that. So if you're thinking about your business, you're thinking about the channel, you're gonna have some sort of niche, right? Sometimes YouTube categorizes certain channels into self-improvement, mental health, whatever it may be. That's at least what I've heard from other creators who I've listened to, is they didn't even mean their channel to be self-improvement, mental health, or home improvement, whatever it may be, right? Now, if you narrow your focus, right, and you think about certain things, that's going to be your niche. I realized that at that time last year, at least, and I don't know how true this is now, but like hardcore lifting and working with the younger generation for me, honestly, was a bit of a battle. And it's because as humans nowadays, I don't even think you need to be Gen Alpha, Gen Z. Okay, the younger generation, before millennials. I'm a millennial. We're not as patient as humans as we once were. And I think that speaks to the dopamine hits that we get from social media, from all this other things. So it's really difficult working with certain people when you're putting them on a cut right away, and then you're also going to be changing their calories, and also you're giving them 4 to 5 days of working out. You're accommodating their request because they don't want to do PPL, they want to do UPL, PPL, and some other sort of hybrid. It's challenging. But mind you, I was training about 3 individuals at least. I didn't get paid for this. It was all a 90-day free trial. Actually, I trained 4 people, and honestly, it just didn't work out. And I looked at myself and I'm like, am I just not a good coach? Am I not providing them? I mean, I was giving people resources, right? The app, the meals. I was paying for a lot of different things. And I'm just thinking maybe I was way too easy on people to where they just didn't, they didn't feel motivated. I don't know, right? So after a couple months, I decided to shut things down because I was going to start charging people, and then that's when they decided to start leaving. Everybody had their own reason, of course, and their reason is their reason. I'm just saying that I was going to start charging individuals, and it was getting to a point where I was going to make an announcement, and all of a sudden people wanted to leave. Hey, no problem. Now, one of the biggest challenges was compliance. Compliance with the meal plan, specifically, not necessarily the workouts, but main so the compliance with the meal plan. And it's just like my body transformation, you can't really see it right now, but like for me, I went down to nearly a 30% body fat, down to last year I was at 23, and then I know for a fact I'm way lower, at least 18 right now, 18, 20, because I kid you not, like I was going on such an aggressive cut late last year. My Aura ring was slipping. I was fitting jeans that were like 29 at the waist. I mean, it was wild. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. I generally wanted to help individuals. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily know if me providing with so much resources is to blame or was to blame in this case, but I want you to be careful because your time is valuable. My time is valuable. All of our time is valuable. And so you really need to make sure that your clients, the individuals that you work with, that they're there. They're there, they're following the program, they're there with you. Because I did have a program, and one of my biggest mistakes was not ensuring that people enrolling into my fitness training program were actually following the steps that I provided them with. I kid you not. And so you just need to be careful. Now you may be thinking, honestly, dude, you should just quit because you're just rambling, you're just talking nonsense, you're just talking, you just don't seem to know what you're doing. And I appreciate that feedback, I really do. But I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna quit, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep just doing. I took some time off of a certain social media channel, actually the Resilient Path, Instagram, and I'm back. Now, what I'm gonna be posting on there, sure, it's gonna be different. It is gonna be more, the content's gonna be better because I've learned a lot recently on how to edit, how to shoot videos, how to do this, how to do that. I mean, it's been a game changer of the other social media channel that I created for the community, to spread community awareness, debunked community news that's coming out, for the community, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not saying I have a certain plan. I'm certainly going into this, or re-entering this space with some sort of uncertainty. But I just want to encourage you, whether it's a fitness training program, whether it's a mobile detailing program, home improvement, becoming a general contractor, carpet cleaning, plumbing, or if you're also at a corporate office like myself, be true to who you are, because your intentions do truly matter. People are going to know, people are going to understand that you're serious, that you're wanting to help them out. And that goes also even with dating, even whether you're approaching a guy or whether you're approaching a girl, right? The intentions that you have behind. When you start dating someone, the intentions do matter. And you have to stick with what you've said, right? You got to follow through. But the main thing is that you have to be the example. Because if you're not in it yourself, what makes you think your clients, future, whatever it may be, that they're not in it? If you're a salesperson, you're going into selling solar, for example, what makes you think your clients are gonna, provide you with that transaction if they're not in it? So just keep going. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. In this life, we have so little time. And as a matter of fact, we even have a little time, and we don't have a whole lot of time. Quite frankly, we don't know when our time has come up. And that takes me to something I just want to pivot and talk about real quick. In conjunction with the online fitness training program, when I was at the hotel and I was working 10 to roughly like midnight, I kid you not, I was full of hope, and I still am full of hope. I really am. But I had a lot more fire in me. And quite frankly, when you're in this journey, that fire obviously is going to dwindle down. But my point is, you got to enjoy every single moment that you put into this. Because it's not a 1 year, it's not a 2 year, 3 year, 5 year journey. It's a continuous journey. I think we often find ourselves in our head. And I just want to encourage you to get out of your head. Until next time, peace.